Alright, so to start off with a little bit of a backstory, then I am not exactly what people would refer to as a very well-informed Five Nights at Freddy's fan. I have never read the books or novels, and the only bit of lore that I actually know about the game outside of just playing it on my own is from exactly 2 MatPat videos. However, I absolutely love horror, and along with my loyal roommate, I've been trying to undertake the challenge of trying to play as many indie horror games as possible. Luckily for the sake of this video, that means that we've also been playing a lot of FNAF fan games. The only kind of unlucky thing about this being I didn't exactly scope out the FNAF fandom community for any sorts of controversies before I had already played a vast majority of them. This guy did what to kids? Regardless of the different kinds of landmines I accidentally ended up stumbling into, then I still thought it would be nice to make a tier list out of all of these games since I had played them anyway. Plus, I really like sharing my opinion and hearing you guys, so please do remember to be civil in the comments, be nice. Remember, this is just purely my own opinion as a person who has played these games sort of in succession. I hope you all enjoy, and let's jump into the video. Alright, we are gonna do a tier list of all the different games that I've spent just honestly way too much time playing these last many months. I actually just sat down and counted them and it was like 27, 28, 29, 30 freaking games, that's right. Oh god, I've played 30 games. But let's just start from an end, shall we? With arguably one of the most well-known and popular FNAF fan games out there. JOC, also known as Joy of Creation. Now I know that there are multiple games. I know that there's like the, what's it called, the Reborn something that's kind of like, I think, free roam demo for the game. And while I have played that, then that's not really what I want to focus on. What I want to focus on is Joy of Creation story time, the one thing that everyone knows, because that part of the game is really quite good. It just has polish, it's cool, it's new, it's interesting. My only gripe with it is sort of the same as a lot of FNAF games in that it doesn't always explain the mechanics quite well, or either that or it just overloads you with information at times. But yeah, I mean, this fan game was so good that Security Breach just outright ripped a section of the game out of it and used it as their own, so I mean, gotta give it a good grade. I think in terms of fan games, that's gonna have to be a yes. Next up, we have Five Nights at Treasure Island. Now, I know that a lot of people think this is the first like FNAF fan game that was ever made. I don't think it is, but it is definitely one of the very first. And I will kind of be basing my judgment on the remake of it, which is supposed to be kind of like how it was envisioned to be. And that one was quite good. It was quite scary. I kind of like the way that they warped these characters completely, and I feel like it had quite a lot of good stuff to it. Well, let's be honest, the original Treasure Island was as bare bones as I think a FNAF fan game could be. But hey, still a pioneer, an absolute pioneer for its time. Let's it's not quite S. It's not quite S. I'll give it A. I'll give it A. Ooh, candy. Oh god. So see, the thing is, I played all of these games either in like succession, or then it's also just sort of games that I remembered experiencing as someone who's also kind of grown up with FNAF. And by the time that I got to playing Candy, it wasn't that impressive to me, but I realized that that was because it was just like an incredibly good fan game. Like, if you wanted to make a game that stayed true to the original idea of the very original FNAF game, then this would probably be it. And also, it's a cool fun fact how Candy is actually like an older conceptual model than even Freddy is, or than like FNAF is. I'm giving it an S because it's that faithful. It's quite good. Candy 2 is also, can I say, quite excellent. And the reason I think it's great is because it's kind of everything. This is gonna piss people off. It's everything that I want FNAF 3 to be. Because Sorry to say it, folks, I don't like FNAF 3. I think the gameplay just isn't that great. The way you unlock all the lore stuff is very lame and uncreative and just unnecessarily difficult. Candy 2 just does it better because it practically has some of the same mechanics in there, but it has like the helpless feel of being able to stare down the barrel of that hallway that I really, really like, and you're like encompassed. You're absolutely surrounded in darkness. I really like it. It's quite scary. Now, Candy 3, you are a you're not controversial. No, trust me, there's plenty of other stuff on this list that you could call controversial, buddy. Don't worry, we'll get to it. But it's one that I feel I have a split opinion on, because while I do think it's cool, I do feel it's worse. I was about to say it's worse FNAF 4, but that's not what it is. It just kind of borrows some themes and some stuff from FNAF 4, which that's not a bad thing. But the whole shining a light at the monster for a prolonged period of time just gets you very used to them like being there. They're not that intimidating. Okay, I've honestly been thinking about this for 5 minutes. Holy crap. But I'll put Candy 3 in B for now, with the option to move it later. Oh, the classic Five Nights at Boys. People really love this game, man. Just for the whole meme potential. Considering it's a game that's literally made in RPG Maker, would be sort of pioneering in terms of like making not just scary or want to be scary fan games, but also just making freaking funny ass parodies. Okay, I'm gonna put. You're not. Can I honestly get away with? No, I cannot. I can't. I cannot, in good conscience, put boys on A tier. I cannot. I might move it later. Who knows? I don't know. I might change this all up later. I don't know. I need to consider this whole thing as soon as I have it in front of me. 39s. I know, okay, I know. It's just, I want to ask you very specifically if you've picked this game up recently. Because see, the thing about 39s is it's also a parody game. It's also like a comedic video game. And I absolutely respect that. I respect it for doing it. And I respect it considering the time that it came out, which was like, when was it? 27. Ooh, yeesh, that was actually later than I thought. The thing is, it's like 2017 haha funny random humor, but the thing is 2023 random humor is such a different beast. It's just a little tame now, is all I'm saying. Five Nights at the Chum bucket. This one is in case you haven't played it, this is a SpongeBob game. But what's interesting about this one is that this one was actually also quite early. This was one of the very early FNAF games, FNAF Fan Games. And it is not perfect, not by any means, but the mechanics of it were actually pretty good, especially considering the time, the modeling and everything. Actually, that was not bad. I'm gonna put you in B tier, solidly in B tier for now. Oh, fuck. Okay. Now we're at the big one. The big new one that all the other FNAF, whatever, I don't know if there's other FNAF tier lists that have included this one, but this one came out very recently, but it also just so happens to be one of the most anticipated and one of the biggest, most popular ones released in a long time. Like, the goal of the game is just to really recreate the feel of the original FNAF games and then just have like a haunted house sequence of different puzzles and stuff, escape rooms, blah, 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 that you can do in it. And I thought it was very good at that, albeit quite frustrating at times. That goddamn hand crank flashlight sound effect is gonna haunt me to the end of my days. Replace it, please. But yeah, while it isn't necessarily incredibly scary, like as a scary game or anything, then as a fan game, I mean, yeah, so much work put into it. And it recreates it almost perfectly. A Shadow Over Freddy's. This one, I honestly don't know if a lot of people have heard of this one, but I like this one. I thought this one was quite cool and quite underrated. Like, I've played a lot of games now, a lot of games that take place in Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria, but this one actually revitalized that, like, made it spooky again. So I'm actually gonna give you A tier. Holy crap. Ooh, Afton Built. Afton Built was... okay, so the thing is, what I really admire about FNAF games is, well, I mean, of course, if the goal is to like make like to faithfully recreate that feel of FNAF, I respect that. But I also really respect when people try to go in different directions and try to do something unique. I really like that. But with Afton Build, it just kinda, I don't know. This one for some reason feels like the least FNAF-ish game out of all of these. And I don't know if that's exactly in a good way. Not that being FNAF-y is good, always. But yeah, from what I played, then I didn't really find this one that scary or that entertaining. I might actually... Yeah, this might... Oh god, no. Maybe if it actually got a full game. I know that it was apparently very ambitious, so much so that it got cancelled. Maybe if we saw a full game of it someday. But for now, it's made... Like there is polish there, but I don't know, I'm just not really much a fan of it. Freddy Fright is certainly a FNAF fan game. It's pretty much all I can really say about it. Like, it's okay. It's well enough made, and the models look okay, but it's just not really anything phenomenal, really. So, in my opinion, this might be a C tier. This might be a C tier. Pop Goes. I know a lot of people really like Pop Goes. And honestly, it is probably A tier. Like, I mean, it just works well. The design department isn't anything like amazing. I'm not amazed by the design or anything like that, but it's pretty good. Considering the time it was released, it's pretty damn good. Mac Tonight, oh no. For that great taste. Mac Tonight. I know that there's multiple Mac Tonight games. I just, I did not have patience. But from what I remember, this is also, I think, one of the older ones, but it was pretty alright. It was like I get it. It's a fast food chain with a mascot, and you made that into like a fan game. That's very FNAF game pipeline-y to do. I don't know if I'm stepping on a landmine here by doing this, because I don't know the hype or the popularity or anything behind Mac Tonight, but I think it's a probably also it's higher than Freddy Fright, but it's a C tier. Rachel's is also a bit of a split opinion, because this game is actually made by the guy who made Joy of Creation, and you can even hear it's the same voice actor in it. But again, this one also, I don't know. But yeah, Rachel's I feel like dished out a lot of mechanics. But it didn't really, I don't know. The designs and stuff and everything just didn't really quite catch me. So it's like a high C tier for me. Also, I'm moving Chum Bucket down a bit to a bit lower B. It just doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right looking at it there, so. Now we have Teelerland. It's kind of an unexpected competitor in this one. I feel like it's an underrated one, because Teelerland has something like an edge above a lot of these fan games, especially the older one, and that is it has that polish. Teelerland has so much polish. I mean, it's quite good. But yeah, considering it's a different universe and everything, and the characters are like well made, I feel like it's pretty scary. I'm gonna give it, I'm gonna put it in A tier. Gotta be honest, put an 8 here. Ultra Custom Night, the bane of my freaking existence. And no, this isn't the other Custom Night one, the one that's official. But I mean, it's FNAF at its most absurd. It's just insane. It's epilepsy, the game. I have only taken a few cracks at it with a few of the settings turned on. Yeah, that's all I dare to do. But yeah, I mean, it's just so different. This is for the people who love not the horror aspect of FNAF, but really like the gaminess of it, which I honestly don't know how many actually like that, or how many just take that on as a challenge because it's a cool thing to accomplish. I don't really know if there's that many people that like it, but I'm gonna put it at C below Rachel's, because it's also it's not like extremely well made, but I mean, it certainly is not enough to add some extra challenge for those absolute nightmarish gamers out there who are willing to absolutely just torture themselves for clout. Ooh, Flumpties. This is a bit of a problematic one, isn't it? Because the creator may or may not have been quite rightfully cancelled. And I do believe that his reputation being absolutely ruined is one of the things that led to like an entire unified FNAF fan game developing platform just collapsing kind of in on itself. So yeah, the dev, not a good guy. But it's unfortunately hard to deny that Flumpty, Flumpty 2, and Flumpty 3 are just quite, they're really good. They were amongst some of the earlier games, fan games, I believe, and they were just made so, I mean, they were hand-drawn, hand-animated, a completely different art style that, like, almost no one else has done. I mean, I just gotta give it to it. Flumpty 1 is good. Flumpty 2 is just so good, because it also has the different mechanic system that's just so fun to play, and the little Easter eggs everywhere. I hate to give it an S, but I'm gonna give it an S. And Flumpty 3, I'm gonna give a B tier, a high B tier, because it didn't really add a whole lot, but it was still like the same quality that you'd expect. Wario's, this one, oh boy, this one. Yeah, Wario's an early dog. He was he was here, I believe, as also one of the first ones. How old is FNAF Wario? Doesn't help. I mean, yeah, I mean, it came out 2015, very early 2015. That's old. And while it absolutely had terrible visuals, let's be honest, the visuals were not like the strongest part of the game. I think they mostly used like creepypasta images of Mario and stuff. But I mean, it was pretty pioneering for the time. It was a gameplay over visuals, and I respect that. It also had like the Mario in the middle kind of growing, which I believe is kind of what inspired the mechanics with the clown we would see in Flumpty. If you guys have played that game, you'll know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I mean, I cannot give it above a C tier. I can't, but it's still very, it's not bad. I have nothing against Wario's. Now we've gotten to the Final Nights series. And right off the bat, I'll immediately say that Final Nights 2 is not my favorite. It's okay. I'm gonna give it like I'm gonna give it a high D tier. But it's just because the other games, in my opinion, they just keep getting better. And that's kind of why I'm not that impressed by this one. Also, the reason that I didn't put Final Nights 1 on here is because Final Nights 1 didn't look that good. And I mean, the developer, I believe, even removed it for a short period of time, because I believe even they weren't really proud of what they'd made. So that's kind of why I decided to not include that one. Final Nights 3 has some new mechanics, and you know, those designs are pretty spooky. I gotta give it to it. Those designs are pretty freaking spooky. I'm gonna put it in B tier, like maybe right above Chum Bucket. But yeah, I mean, Final Nights 3 is quite alright with me. Final Nights 4, this one is just pretty good. Okay, excuse me, I believe from the tone that I said that sounded sarcastic. It's not. It's actually a really good game. It's frustrating at occasional points, but I mean, everything from the designs, the sound effects of those animatronics when they walk around and walk into your office, I really like it. The point and click aspect, I even like that. It's a little flimsy in terms of some mechanics here and there. It feels a little unfair occasionally at times, but I mean, man, honestly, this is my honest opinion. I know people might be mad I put Pop Goes lower, but Final Nights 4 is just good. Final Nights 4 does a lot of things well. Now we're moving on to the Jolly series. And I heard a fact somewhere that maybe this isn't true. This is just something that I heard some YouTubers say, so this might be wrong. But I think I heard that the creator of Jolly was 13 years old when they started. When they made the first Jolly game, they were 13 years old. That's freaking impressive. It's nothing spectacular, everything from especially the animatronics and the jump scares and everything like that. It's not incredible, and I have to put it below. Rachel's. But considering like the age of the developer and how much they also improve over time, I mean, that's a great position to be in. Jolly 2 is also, that's a lot better. There's still some stuff with the animatronics that just have a kind of a goofy look. Still vastly better. I'm gonna put this one, yeah, I mean, it has to be. It's better than Chum Bucket. And Jolly 3, I have to admit something terrible off the bat. I have only played the first chapter. That's right. I didn't play the second chapter of the game. That is something that I still need to get to doing, but so far, I quite like it. It's very, 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 very heavily inspired by Sister Location. But I mean, hey, that's fine. That's fine. I don't mind at all. It's a fan game. So it makes sense to me. But yeah, they kind of create this linear experience. You do different things so it doesn't just get boring and repetitive. And I like that. That's quite nice. And I am gonna put it at A tier. Also, I have to move these. Yeah, I have to move these up here. And Jollibees, I included on here, but I mean, I'm putting it in S tier immediately, even though I have not seen anything from the game. It just is a salute. Because in case you didn't know, Jollibees is an actual restaurant. Jolly is an actual mascot of like a real world company. So you guys in the FNAF community know that, yeah, at this point with Jollibees, the creator got in trouble with them finally. The copyright gods, they smashed them down hard. Poor souls as they were. But you know, it is what it is. I'm giving you an S tier just as a salute. Your game was probably great. I'm sorry it didn't get included in the FNAF something development universe because you have a copyrighted character. Now we're moving on to the two final ones, and this one is also one that I've not seen a lot of people talk about. This is, oh, hold on, I'm actually not putting it anywhere. This is Ready. Oh yeah, Return to Freddy. Return to Freddy 2. Winter Wonderland. The first one looked absolutely goofy as fuck. This one was actually quite polished and quite good, and it's one that I've not seen a lot of people play, mostly because Markiplier hasn't played it. So, you know, for if you want like a solid polished experience, this one's actually quite good. And I'm gonna put it about here. And finally, we get to also another one of the very, very new ones that might not be on other tier lists or stuff out there, JRs or Juniors, which I mean, oh my god. You could argue whether or not if the gameplay holds up on its own, or if it's innovative enough or like interesting enough to be like a good driving force behind the game, but man, the visuals. JRs has outright the most creepy, messed up like designs for FNAF characters I've ever seen. They're so scary. I absolutely love them. I wish we got more time with them because unfortunately the mechanics of the game make it so you mostly either see them like in one kind of still frame where they have their head off and you're repairing them, and then on like a very filtered camera, so you never really get that good of a look at them. But I mean, it's good. It's quite good. It's not, again, it's mostly the visuals carrying it, but it is quite good. But there we go, people. That is the official one and only FNAF fan game tier list. Hopefully I got all the ones that people really wanted to see here. I know it's not all of them. These are just the ones that I found that looked cool, that I wanted to play, and that I thought were kind of scary, or were games that I at least had some experience with. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed watching. How would you switch up this tier list? Please do let me know down in the comments without killing me. I'd appreciate it very much. I'll even leave a link to the tier list down below so you can make a version yourself. But yeah, I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.